So picture this. You've got a 38-year-old developing doctoral student. Wait, no, sorry. Welcome to today's case conference, Deep Dive, specifically for you developing doctoral students out there. Today, our mission is to integrate neuroscience and statistics to build a complex clinical formulation.
Right, and we have the perfect case for it. Picture a 38-year-old veteran, let's call him Jordan, sitting in a driving simulator, just cruising down a perfectly safe virtual highway.
Totally safe. But suddenly, his data just spikes. I mean, heart rate surges, skin conductance goes through the roof.
And the eye tracking shows he's frantically scanning the mirrors.
Yeah. The threat is literally zero, but his biological siren is just blaring. He handles local roads fine, but he completely avoids highways in real life.
Exactly. Jordan has a history of blast exposure, a previous mild traumatic brain injury, and PTSD. So today, we're untangling that alarm.
And it's so tempting to just rely on that classic hypersensitive car alarm metaphor here, like the alarm going off when a loud truck drives by.
Oh, absolutely. But it's a trap.
Right. Because with blast exposure and MTBI, we aren't just talking about a software glitch. We are looking at potential hardware damage. Like, are we seeing the prefrontal cortex failing to inhibit the amygdala because of, sheared white matter tracts?
Or is it a predictive processing error, where the brain's algorithm is simply weighting historical combat data way heavier than current safe sensory input?
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the exact distinction we need to make. Which brings us to our evidence check. We observed the sympathetic arousal, the heart rate, the rapid scanning. That is our established hard data.
Right, we can see that clearly.
We also know it's established that Jordan's behavioral avoidance temporarily reduces his distress. But, well, unfortunately, it limits corrective learning.
Which is a huge problem. But what's uncertain then?
It's uncertain what the specific etiology is. You can't just look at an autonomic signature or eye tracking in a simulator and prescribe a specific treatment, declaring, oh, it's the MTCI and not hypervigilance.
Okay, but I have to push back a bit there. If PTSD and MTBI share so much overlapping variance, I mean, sleep disruption, fatigue, attentional deficits.
Headaches, yeah.
Right? Aren't we kind of stuck? How are we not just blindly guessing at the root cause when the clinical presentation is a Venn diagram that basically looks like a single circle?
Well, we don't guess. We measure better. Welcome to the Researcher's Corner.
Nice.
If you want to untangle this, you need a in-person assessment that tracks variables over multiple days.
Okay, let's actually pause and predict right here. I want you, the listener, to challenge yourself. Why is a single driving simulation incredibly weak evidence for a stable personal biomarker? Just think about it for a second.
Did you get it? A single session just cannot separate a true biological signal from daily measurement noise.
Like poor sleep the night before.
Exactly. Or too much caffeine, or just the sheer novelty of being in a weird simulator.
So to cut through that noise, you have to use ambulatory autonomic monitoring, or EMA, ecological momentary assessment.
Right. We need to track Jordan's physiology across multiple days.
And stepping into the clinician's corner, that design choice isn't just an academic exercise. How we measure directly dictates what we can ethically treat.
Precisely. If our research design is flawed, our care is flawed. We can't responsibly sell a treatment, like, say, neurofeedback, as a proven cure for vaguely defined brain dysregulation, not if we haven't actually established a reliable baseline.
Ethical treatment has to target function. Right.
What actually moves the needle for Jordan? Graded driving exposure, targeted sleep interventions.
So let's do a teach-back moment to lock this in. I want you to mentally choose one clinical outcome, one physiological outcome, one confounder, and one design feature, and explain how they fit together for Jordan.
A great example would be tracking heart rate variability, that's your physiological outcome, against highway driving frequency, which is the clinical goal.
While controlling for daily caffeine intake is the confounder.
Exactly. All but using a 14-day ambulatory monitoring period to satisfy the design requirement.
Perfect. So synthesizing all of this, 3 core takeaways emerge for a case like Jordan's. First, a strong formulation holds several plausible explanations at once, without prematurely collapsing into a simple narrative.
Second, multimodal data is only useful when answering a clear question. Throwing more sensors at a patient without a longitudinal design just creates noise.
Yeah, nobody wants that. And finally, ethical clinical reasoning embraces uncertainty. It prioritizes function and the patient's actual real-world goals over perfectly diagnosing the root cause.
Which leaves you with a challenge for this Saturday. Try preparing a 2-minute case formulation for Jordan that explicitly connects his nervous system, his behavior, your measurement strategy, and the very next assessment step you would take.
And as you map that out, consider this final thought. If Jordan's physiological responses were highly adaptive for surviving a combat environment, but are now maladaptive for a civilian highway, at what exact point does a survival mechanism mathematically become a dysregulation? Something to chew on.
Remember, mastery over memorization.
Remember, mastery over memorization.